Houston's like beating a drum, whereas this is like on the piano. This is, like on the guitar. This was like fine, high level, high skill movement. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Draymond Green Show with my brother. BD, what's happening, bro? How you feeling?
What's up, my guy? Damn. You had a good run, man.
It's off season.
Welcome to the off season.
My mom texted me after the game.
We get to hang out more.
But my mom texted me after the game. I still ain't text her back, and I know she think I'm mad. I actually thought it was hilarious. Well, I hope you went to you got your fishing stuff out of storage. It's time for you to go fishing. And then she sent me this emotion.
Come on,
oh, man.
Come on, man. Let's go fishing.
It's off season. Yeah.
I gotta give a shout out to the Minnesota Timberwolves.
You ain't gotta give them no shout out.
I just shout out to the city of
They
Minnesota.
shouted out enough. They won. They don't need no shout out. They doing it. We need a shout out. We down.
Well, first, I want to give a shout out to the Warriors.
They don't need no shout out. They still compete for a championship. I want to shout them out. They still going.
Yeah.
They don't need no shout out yet.
They be my dogs. They dogs.
They don't need no shout out. It's their
dogs in the fight. I had dogs in the fight. They proved me wrong, man. They proved me wrong. Yeah, it was interesting series. Minnesota is sneaky because they got size, they got speed, they got offensive talent. They got a lot of dudes that can do a lot of different things, and they can play different styles. I think seeing Minnesota playing against the Lakers, LeBron, Luka, Lakers are small. They bullied them up. Then came back with you guys. And, game one was different. Steph goes out. You guys are still small. And so they have every advantage. They play big, small ball, which is interesting in this type of NBA, because now, you're looking at 6'8", 6'9", 6'8", 6'7", and then maybe if Conley's out there, 6 feet. And so I think in this series, it was just a matter of speed. They were quicker. They were quicker to the ball. They just have more weapons. When you're playing against a team like this, it's hard to focus on one particular thing when they have so many different players that can beat you. And it wasn't just Anthony Edwards. It's never just been all Anthony Edwards. It's been Julius Randle. It's been McDaniels. It's been Mike Conley. Rudy Gobert, them interchanging in and out the game. That fuck a lot of teams up.
Mm-hmm.
You fought. You had a couple games. If you would have made the games murky, if you would have made the games under 100, I think, or tried to be under 100, under 105, slow the pace down, then it would have worked in your favor. But at the end of the day, they just wore y'all down. And then without having Steph Curry, it was tough because they have the physical presence and athletic talent to match up well against pretty much any team in the West. The way I'm looking at Minnesota, this is my first time really, really, really seeing them.
When I look at this series, it reminds me a lot of the Toronto series. And what I mean by that is matchups are extremely important, offensively and defensively.
Mm-hmm.
The matchups are extremely important to the outcome of that game. Like, there are some series that you can lose a guy, you can be without a guy, you can win still and like be fine based upon the matchup. With those teams, when we lost to Toronto, it's like one injury changes all of the matchups. So, right, say for instance, Jaden McDaniels would be glued to Steph Curry the entire series, no question, right? Like, that will be their guy who they go to for Jaden for Steph. if Jaden McDaniels is struggling or in foul trouble, the next guy they'd actually probably go to would be Ant, who I think they'd put on Steph, right? Like if he gets in foul trouble, chase Steph around. All right, so then what that does to the rest of the matchups is vitally important to how these games play out. Now, with no Steph, and Jaden McDaniels don't have to chase Steph around, now Jaden McDaniels is on me or Jimmy, or there's times where Ant was on me, right? They're moving pieces around that you can't necessarily move around. So, for instance, when we played Toronto, and why this series reminded me so much of that, Toronto had all of those same things. They had point guard play, they had great wing play, they had good wing play off the bench. Norman Powell coming off the bench, OG Anunoby coming off the bench, right? They had a really good power forward playing at an elite level in Pascal Siakam. Minnesota has a really good power forward playing at an elite level in Julius Randle, right? But some games, it was Marc Gasol that hurt us, right? Rudy Gobert, obviously not the same style game. I'm just saying as far as big man goes.
But it's just a position.
Yes, just position. But some games, Serge Ibaka hurt us. Nas Reed. You see what I'm saying? So that's why this series reminded me so much of that. From a matchup perspective, it ends up then changing all of the matchups. It changes the lineup. So whereas you may go a certain lineup to cover this, you don't necessarily go that lineup because you're missing such a big piece. And so, like, when I get in these series, I've been through so many of them that you can always immediately like, oh, this is that. And what I mean by that is like,
you can draw from your file cabinet.
Exactly. This Houston series is Memphis 2015 all over again, right? Like, so you go back to like all of these series like this, and the Toronto series is what this Minnesota series was to me. And saying that, man, really, really good ball club. When I take a step back and obviously remove myself from just playing in the series and just look at the series from a basketball fan perspective or a basketball analysis perspective, what I love most is it wasn't all Ant. Like, it wasn't like Ant just had to dominate the ball or dominate the game. Like, he had his imprint on every game. But it wasn't just like Ant big scoring nights, Ant go for 45 and they win. Like, it was kind of all over the place. Julius played great. Julius is incredible. Another reason why I said this series is like Toronto to me is because, for this reason, I've been through, I think that was my 34th playoff series. I could be off by one or two, give or take each way. Could be 36. I don't know, something of that nature. Call it, for the sake of doing numbers, call it my 33rd playoff series. The only other playoff series where I felt like I lost my matchup like that, I didn't completely dominate my matchup, take over my matchup. The only other series really in my career where I feel like I lost my matchup was Toronto. I felt like I lost my matchup to Pascal Siakam. Game 1, he crushed me. Game 2, I stifled him. Like, maybe game 3, he was on. Game 4, I had a better game. But I felt like I lost my matchup in that series. And this series also reminds me of that series because it's also a series where I don't feel like I lost my matchup. I lost my matchup. Like, Julius was incredible. And he played great basketball. And honestly, like, some of the shots he was taking was shots that you want him to take, and he made them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, he made the shots. Like, at the end of the day, the game oftentimes come down to shot making, and he made the shots. And so, got to give Ju a lot of credit, man. I've been playing against Julius. I remember going back to the first preseason game of playing against him in San Diego, California. We was playing in this game, and like the court, like I think we ended up stopping the game like right after halftime or something because the court was slippery. If I'm not mistaken, it's the same game that, if you remember the clip, Kobe's picking up Steph full court, and Steph hit the three and tap him, and either Steph tapped him or he tapped Steph or something like that. But if I'm not mistaken, it was that same game. That was my first time ever playing against Ju. And at that time, Ju had this move where he come down, he got the ball in his right hand, he throw the ball to his left hand, and he stutter step. And I had never really faced a guy like that yet in the league. He was young coming in. So I struggled guarding that move. So when we played them the next preseason game, I watched a ton of clips, that move. And I'm like, oh, I know what I need to do to that move now. And we played them next preseason game, and I shut the move down. We've been kind of having these little battles since Ju came into the league. And obviously this is the first one on a playoff level, but I got to give it to him, man. He got the better of me.
You got to.
He got the better of me. And with all respect, you know, I'm never a guy who's going to hide from the truth. He was a tough cover, one of the tougher covers I've had in the playoff series. And it was very interesting because it did not feel like that series was as physical as the Houston series.
No, it was more physical. It just wasn't all the bullshit shenanigans. Like, they got a greater level of respect for y'all.
Facts.
Even when Steph went out.
Facts.
Right? Mm-hmm. Like, I will say this. You have to watch Minnesota play in order to appreciate. You said something about Ant. Ant gets his money.
Yeah.
And he gets his money with everybody else getting their money too. And I didn't know that. They can beat you in so many different ways. And not only, like, the three is not they live or die. Because Ant go to the hole, McDaniel go to the hole, Naz Reid go to the hole. You know, Kylie still can penetrate, you know, pull up, run, pick and roll. So they got a couple different styles. And then adding Julius Randle, who's my boy, that's my young dog. Great offense, beat great defense all the time.
Right? I disagree, but it did that time.
All the time. Great, like it did.
All the time.
If you play the greatest.
That is a cliche saying that I disagree with, but it definitely did this time.
Man, I as a defender, there's been times where I've played the best defensive possession on Allen Iverson, and he made the shot.
No, yeah, that's great, but then there's times where you played the best defensive possession and shut guys down. So I just disagree with the statement. It's a very cliche statement that I understand what people are saying, but I disagree with. But this time, no question. no question.
But yeah, and you know, a lot of those shots is his talent. And Minnesota, when I see Ed and I see Julius play like that, and I see what McDaniel can do with a little bit of freedom, what he did in the Lakers series coming off of that. And you got DiVincenzo, who's a dog, right? You got Naz Reid, who's a matchup problem, right? Because he moves like a guard. And so it's just a lot of – and then Rudy Gobert. If you get 2-3 good games out of Rudy Gobert where he got a double-double, then it's like, ah, damn, they're hard to stop. But I thought y'all played hard. I thought y'all gave it y'all. I do think that – I don't know if y'all was expecting another version of the Houston series, but, like, they went into none of the bullshit. They just was hooping.
It was just hard basketball.
Yes,
tough
they played
basketball.
super hard. Exactly. They played y'all tough.
Exactly.
It wasn't no bullying. We ain't gonna be staring them down. It's hit or be hit, right? Mm-hmm. And I think as a whole, you guys weren't prepared for that because they just hit a little bit harder than Houston, and they got on with their business, right? Where Houston, man, hit you, could have been tricky, murk up the game, and now it's a thing. They was just, oh, my bad. And
I'm going to tell you this, though, BD. They're more, like, they were physical for sure. Yeah. But I'll tell you, in playing in the game, that game wasn't as physical as Houston. It wasn't as physical because that's what Houston has to do in order to stay in the game. Like,
right.
And so when I tell you it wasn't as physical, I'm telling you, first, I've been in a million of these things, as you know. It was not as physical. It was a level of physicality, obviously, a high level of playoff physicality for sure. But the skill level was so much higher than Houston that the game was never even allowed to get to that level of physicality because it's moving. So it's like it's more this than playing a drum. Like if you want to equate it to a musical instrument, Houston's like beating a drum, whereas this is like on the piano. This is, like on the guitar. This was like fine, high level, high skill movement with obviously playoff physicality. For sure, you're in playoff series, but it couldn't even reach that level of physicality because it's too much motion. You know what I'm saying? It's too much.
Exactly.
And so that's kind of my takeaway from it. It's not like, yeah, they were physical for sure. Like it's a level of playoff physicality that is going to be met anyway. But it was so much higher level skill that I don't even think the game could reach that level because you can't even chuck somebody or grab somebody, like, because the game is moving at such a different tune.
That's what I meant.
So that was kind of my takeaway. I think something I noticed defensively with them too is like, and obviously with Steph on the floor, defensive game plans can change, but I felt like they did a good job of moving Rudy Gobert around and taking advantage of his strengths. So oftentimes, you get in these playoff series, and this could be Finch. They had a year with Rudy last year, right? So you get an opportunity to go through it. Then you see it. You get an opportunity to study it over the course of the summer, see what you can do. And obviously, last year when they were in the Western Conference Finals, I did the games with TNT. And so I saw all the games. I saw how Dallas was able to exploit Rudy Gobert. And in playing them this year, I felt like they did a really good job of putting Rudy Gobert in positions to take advantage of his strengths. Because it does fall upon coaching where, for instance, if Steph Curry is a knockdown three-point shooter but can't get to the hole, right, like he does, I'm just saying hypothetically, if he's the three-point shooter that he is, but he cannot get to the hole, so if they take the three away, he's done. Well, guess what that coach's job is to do? You better find a way to get him some threes up because that's your job. That's what he specializes in, right? For some reason, defensively, it's never viewed that way. And so Rudy Gobert clearly has a toolkit of strengths in his defensive repertoire. And it is the opposing coach's job to put him in positions to be unsuccessful, to put him in positions to make him uncomfortable, right? That is the opposing coach's job. Well, guess what his coach's job is? Continue to find ways to put him in positions to use his strengths to be successful. Yeah. And I thought they did an incredible job this series of putting him in the positions to be successful, shifting their defenses around, like shifting schemes mid-play to kind of drop him to the paint. Like, I thought they did a really good job of that this series. And there were some plays where we drove to the hole and Rudy Gobert didn't even step over to help, which I knew in their series, and that's their game plan. Their game plan was to press out and take the three out of the game. Obviously, as a big man, your tendency for a big like that is you see the ball go to the rim, you funnel in. And that's how you could take advantage of Rudy at times because he funnel in, you hit the three, toast. Did an incredible job, man, of not funneling in, sticking to the game plan. They put him in positions to play to his strengths. And so I thought that was really good. I think as they move forward in this next series, whether that's Denver or OKC, that will be vital again because the reality is, can they go Naz Reid and Julius Randle? Yes. Could that possibly win them a series? Yes. But when you got all three of them working and you can go to what Rudy brings because he brings a totally different thing from those two guys. So when you can have that strength of yours working as well, it makes them a much dangerous team. And I think they had all three of them working against us, which made them a much more dangerous team than they would be if they just got two of them working. So I thought that was something that I noticed in playing, but also watching the films. It's like, man, they did a much better job of putting Rudy in positions defensively to where he can take advantage of his strengths and not just be exposed and where he may have some weaknesses as everyone does.
They had time to watch that series against Houston, And like I was saying, I think what they caught on to was when you guys penetrate, you don't penetrate to score. And so that's why they stayed home. They were like, yo, we don't want the Warriors to shoot a high volume of threes, whether Steph is on the floor or not. We want them to drive. And a lot of times I call it purgatory. You get stuck in purgatory where it's like, oh, I got the ball. Damn, I don't have the three. Nobody is else open. I'm in the middle of the court, right, with a step or a move to the basket, but I'm looking out. I'm looking for, my spots. And when Rudy didn't challenge at the basket and they were able to stay home, especially when how he was rotating him in and out, rotating them in with Looney, rotating them out, putting Nas Reed, kind of confusing, I would say, the offense and the defense. But I think they did a good job of taking away the three and making you guys make twos. You guys did a good job. I want to say it was game 3. I thought that game was had because you murkied the game. You went to the hole. You got steals. You wasn't looking for the three. You was taking the three when it was opportune time. But, I think this era of basketball, it's like crazy, bro. Like, you can get to the front of the rim and, nobody's there. And then if Rudy Gobert is there, no disrespect to him or big dudes, I don't know, in our era, we kind of like getting to the whole challenging the big dude. I don't see that as much in this era. But I thought game 3 was probably our best game. Yeah, I had to win. Game 2, I don't know what the fuck was happening with y'all in game 2, but
game 2, I felt like we went into game 2 and we didn't think we could win. That was the feeling. That was the feeling that I had on the court. It was like game 2, we didn't feel like we can win. Game 3, we could have won, we should have won, and I played fucking awful. I was terrible.
Your last 5 minutes was, oh gosh. I was sitting at the house yelling.
I never found the rhythm of the game. I played terrible. So that's why we lost game 3, and I thought that's a game that we could have won, but I played terrible.
In a situation like that, right, you're never going to get the benefit of the doubt.
For sure.
So the little fouls and shit like that kind of really hurt because, on the dunk, you didn't even foul him, but they going to foul him.
I didn't. I didn't foul. It was interesting, though. I got fined for that.
And then you don't get the challenge, so you lose a timeout.
Mm-hmm.
So then and then they called the offensive foul on you with the Kuminga thing, which I think the replay shit is stupid as hell. They can call a foul before, man, you're supposed to be judging, was it a foul on Kuminga?
Exactly.
Not who grabs somebody. That's the whole That's the whole point of sports.
Exactly.
You got to be able to get away with little shit.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Bro, I used to shoot jumpers, and Earl Watson used to always do this. After I shoot you, would always do and Shane Battier would do this to put his hand right there. Man, we gonna go to the replay, right? And we gonna penalize the person who tripped Shane Battier, so he got right here. And you know what I mean? They looking at the whole play. I thought that hurt, but man, I think game 2, y'all didn't think that y'all could win or think that y'all could compete. Game 3, it was like, oh shit, it's still 1-1. We can actually compete. And then I think it was just more, I don't know if it was fatigue or just not having that to get over the hump. And then from there, it was just like, all right.
Uphill battle from that point.
We're going to fight, but this series.
We're going to fight and swing.
Yeah, we're going to fight and swing.
But
these dudes can fight too.
It ain't just like we're going to fight and we're going to win because they don't fight. Nah, they still good and they fight. So that's kind of what it boiled down to.
Y'all going to wear down because now it's like you fighting and you like, damn, man, where our knockout puncher at? It's like, damn, he's still over there sitting. It's like, if we could have stole another one and people was asking me about Steph, the injury, somebody was like, man, wouldn't you just play? If you had, of course he would play if he could play. But if you can't play in the playoffs, you can't play. It ain't nothing you can do. And coming back you got to be all the way right because you're literally a half, a quarter. Like I remember I pulled my hamstring in the Dallas series, and if it wasn't for just the momentum, like my hamstring was torn. I was just like, fuck it, we gonna ride it till the wheels fall off, right? But in Steph's situation is different. He can't play, he can't move, so there's no reason to get out there. And now you're looking at your big puncher, your knockout puncher, like, damn, dude. All right, we gonna keep boxing and squabbing with these dudes, but like, damn, if we had our knockout guy over here, it'd be a different story. And so when you playing like that, you really just, like you said, uphill battle playing to survive.
But yeah, man, we've seen Steph play through a million injuries, hamstrings, quads, calves, muscles. If he could have gave us 60%, I say no. If he could have gave us 70%, I still say no. That's not the answer. So, moving on.
The NBA 82-game grind is done. Now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs. Love them. They're here. Time for drama, clutch moments, Steph Curry, LeBron, jaw-dropping plays. I can't wait. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. They're the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Playing games all the way to the finals. Now's the time to back your favorite players and teams as they chase glory. So all season long, DraftKings has been the go-to spot for NBA player props. That doesn't stop now. If you want to make your playoff experience even more intense, try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Will they drop 30, 40, who knows, or more? It's your call. If you're ready to place your first bet, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Takes 90 seconds. Lock in your bets, and let's make the playoffs unforgettable. Here's something special for first-timers. DraftKings customers that are new, bet $5. That's it, $5. And get 200 in bonus bets instantly. Just make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download their Sportsbook app. Takes 90 seconds. The code's Colin, C-O-L-I-N. That is code Colin. New customers get $200 in bonus bets. Betting just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours.
It was great to, bounce back this year throughout the course of the year and not see a whole year just go by the wayside.
Real
Actually,
talk.
give ourselves a chance.
But y'all had a chance to win it too.
Absolutely.
Y'all had a strong chance. Y'all had a strong belief. And man, the way y'all bounced back and put your name in the hat. You put your name back on the board outside of like, damn, we about to be mediocre and be, mid. Mm-hmm. You're not mid no more.
Facts.
You're back to being a league. Yeah.
And I think we got a chance now where you like, all right, so one of the toughest things is, to do in this league is like, it's hard to fill the top of a roster, meaning you got Steph. To then plug a Jimmy Butler in, like that's a very hard thing to do in the NBA, where how people work, where how franchises work. It's a very tough thing to do. I think we've done the tough part now. Like we added a Jimmy Butler. So now you can now look at your roster and say, okay, we want to improve here. We want to add this thing because we now know, okay, this is the style of that game that Jimmy plays. We need to add X, right? Like now you're accounting for different things and you're able to really build this team the way it should be built. And so that to me headed into the offseason is the exciting part, of where it's like, we got a chance to fine tune this thing and put it together and give it another go or two or three, and so I think we all can still compete at that level. We've shown that. We know that regardless of what people may feel was shown, we know we can still compete at that level, which is huge. Moving forward to the on to the offseason, I think we move forward in a much better position this year than we were in last year. So I'm excited about that. Obviously, this league is very unforgiving. Got to survive the offseason, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man, offseason going to be tough, but I think for getting Jimmy mid-season, well, you told me mid-season was not the All-Star game. Didn't you say that? Yes, okay. So, like, getting him towards the tail end of the season and working that chemistry, but also I think it was a learning and discovery thing for Steve Kerr as well. because you had Jonathan Kuminga, you had I like to say, like, you had a competitive team, and young talent was emerging. Now you look at, Kuminga's playing the playoffs in Houston, also in the Minnesota series. The young guys being able to, with Steph not being able to close out that last series, with the young guys being able to assume all those minutes, it's going to breed a lot of maturity for them, right? Talking about the Warriors' future, looking at next season, like, what do you think is going to be the focus?
Most importantly, going into the summer that you got to improve. Can't come back looking the exact same. You going into the summer, you got to improve. So that's number one. And I think everyone will have that mindset. I think as far as the young guys go, when you get those opportunities, that can be a gift and a curse, right? Like, you can get those opportunities sometimes before you may be ready for it, But I think we all believe as NBA players that we're always ready for it, right? The delusion in our minds as athletes, which is what allows us to make it to this point, because you have to have some sort of delusion in your mind and believing that you're one of the 300 or 400 best players in the world to play in this league. You have to have a little delusion in your mind to believe that. So we all have that thing. In this league, young guys will come in, including all of us that came in, and think you're ready for something before you are. That can be a gift and a curse in this league, because you could have the potential to do something and not quite be ready in that moment, but you will then be judged off the moment as opposed to the potential. As opposed to, if people never see you do it, then they'll just continue to say it's potential. But the potential could still be there even if you struggle in that moment. So, for instance, I think Brandin Podziemski struggled a bit in this series, right? Now, I feel like his best game was probably the last game of the series. Because he struggled right now, today, in year two, a little bit in the series against some guys who's been through it now, and because he struggled, does that now mean that the potential isn't there? Because he struggled a bit in this moment? Or after year two and having that moment, does he now say, oh, okay, they did X, Y, and Z to me in this series that made me struggle. Now I know that. Now I can go get better and improve upon that.
That's
thing.
What the summer for, yeah.
And then what an organization has to decide is, do I believe that guy is going to do that work, right? I've been playing with him for 2 years now. I know he's one of the guys that will do that work. I actually got a text from him earlier today asking me, what do you think I need to improve upon this summer? Right? Like, that is the type of kid that he is. And young man, I'm not going to call him a kid, he's a young man. But that's the type of young man he is. He works. And so his thing, like, what do I need to do? What do you see that I need to be better at, that I could do to improve up on myself next year, right? And so when I look at our young guys, they all show promise. They all grew from where they were last year. And so will every single one of them be back on this team next year? Just off short numbers and the way this business works? Probably not. That's with every team in the NBA. That's just what it is. But I do think all of our young guys, from BP, Moses, JK, Trace, Guy Santos, Quinn Post, the list goes on and on. I think all of them showed that they improved, they showed promise, and in order to do that, they've shown work ethic. Where does it all shake out going into next year? Who knows, man? This business, you can never be so sure, right? Like, you're going to have to evaluate Jonathan Kuminga, right? Like, we all know his talent. We all know what we all believe he could be. But now you have to make a huge financial commitment. Like, it won't be JK at whatever his number is now. Like, it's a huge financial. So that has to look different for everybody, right? That has to look different for JK. first and foremost, he's the athlete, right? Like, he's the one that got to do the work. He the one that got to sign the contract. So it has to look different for him first and foremost, right? From an organizational standpoint. All of that stuff has to come together. And I love JK's answer in this press conference. He said, listen, we all got to sit down. We got to figure it out. It's going to take a while to figure it out. Free agency does take a while. It's going to take a while to figure this out. He said, but I appreciate Coach Kirk because he's helped me get here where I am at. And, man, that was such a responsible, great, well-thought answer because it's true.
Professional answer.
Because it's true. Like, has it always gone the way you want it to go? No. But that's probably with 99% of basketball players in the NBA. If you talk to a guy, most guys are going to tell you, I could do more of this. They don't let me. Like, that's just the nature of what we do, right? So we all have our trials and tribulations, our peaks and our valleys, right? His valley was more on Front Street for everybody. Yes, but we all have our peaks and our valleys. And the reality is what he said is correct. I love the way he handled it. One thing's for certain. I said this in my ex-interview. Whether it's here or somewhere else, he going to get paid. And he going to have a very bright future. So I don't think he has anything to worry about. Everybody know what he's capable of. He will get paid here or he will get paid somewhere else. That's it, and that's all. And so I think the future for him is as bright as it's ever been.
Earlier this season, you talked about guaranteeing the championship. You know, you guys, I believe, and I'm not making excuses, I think, you know, with Steph, you had a good chance. So, you know, you put yourself in an elite category. Earlier this season as well, Steph mentioned about the last ride, right? And then he recently mentioned that he wants the ride to last as long as possible, right? So now with Jimmy, right, now headed into the offseason, are you back in this championship pedigree or championship guarantee pedigree? Because it wasn't Cat, right? No, that was speaking from what you guys felt. And earlier in the season, it was more so we just want to have an opportunity. And then now it's different, right?
Yeah, I think it's definitely different. I think, you know, our mindset going into next year will be that. Going into every year, I think every team say, yo, we want to compete for a championship. And you know when that shit real and when it's not.
Yeah, for real.
And the reality is, for most people, it's very fake
it's
and not real at all.
Dude. Man,
that's just the reality of it. I personally believe, and wholeheartedly, and we all do, that we will be right there next year, giving ourselves a shot at it, just like we was giving ourselves a shot at it. We gave ourselves a shot at it this year. And I think we will retool and make the roster make even more sense and come back. And also, I think another thing that I'm looking forward to is we get to play a whole year. So we come out, we can take care of business, and we ain't got to play catch up all year. You know, like we've been in the playoffs since February. Like every game mattering, intensity level. Like we've been in the playoffs since February just to get to the moment. And so I think for us now, being able to go through a full season, and obviously you need to stay healthy and all of those things, like we can put ourselves in better position to be successful. And I think, you know, that'll be big for us. But the goals will be the goals, which is coming out, competing, trying to win a championship. That will be our goal 1,000%. I do believe we are capable of that. I stand on that 100%. So, you know, Jimmy, Steph, myself, we'll all be in the weeds, you know, trying to make it all make sense, you know, for what we believe we need, what it needs to look like. We'll be in the weeds, so right back at it.
Man, and if y'all want to include me, I'm up, you know, for assistant to the assistant GM. And if I were to put my GM hat on, just saying what y'all need, I would say you just need dynamic athleticism and you need somebody with some game. Like you need somebody that's, you know, you need that that wild card scorer, that threat, that whether he's 6'8" and get to the hole, just somebody who's just a scoring machine. To the basket, catch three, just somebody who just, hey man, if this dude get hot, we definitely win it, right? And then I would say dynamic athleticism, right? 6'10" versatility, 7-foot shot blocker that can run to the rim and dunk. Just a few little pieces like that. Because when you think about now, the way the league is transitioning is getting back to the bigs, is getting back to the dominant power force, is getting back to second chance shots are the shots that are going to beat you. So long threes, a lot of threes, long rebounds, but second chance points, rebounds, that's always going to be the deciding factor. And I just think for the Warriors, a little small, a little slow, right? But elite talent. And if you can mix some of that with, some hyperactivity and some strong athleticism, and people that can get to the rim, y'all be unstoppable. You talked about getting in the weeds, right? You, Steph and Jimmy getting in the weeds. You don't do that usually or ever outside of the KD. You got in the weeds, got KD. So when you say I'm getting in the weeds,
yeah, you just got to be involved.
Somebody's ears.
You got to be involved. You just got to have the conversations, man. You got to, because at the end of the day, when you're trying to compete for a championship, the front office may think they need to bring in a guy that like, yo, I play against this guy. Like, he ain't it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's when I say, like, you got to get in the weeds. Like, there's just some, because, again, like I said, I think, we filled out the roster at the top. And so with that being one of the toughest things, like, now you need guys, like, yo, man, when we play against this guy, I love when that team bring that guy on the court. And now we're going to go sign him. Like, nah, you don't want that guy, And so when I say get in the weeds, like, that's what I mean. Like, you got to give some input at times, because what can be seen from the stands or what can be seen from some numbers, it ain't always what it seems when you're trying to compete for a championship.
And sometimes the dude that plays great against you, and maybe the dude y'all looking for is sitting on somebody bench that's super talented and playing behind one of these one or two scorers. The league is full of scorers, and the league is full of versatile scorers. And I think the ability to bring someone into the game that can get their own money and get money for other people just by default, right, is going to be a game changer for you guys, because you already have highly talented, skilled guys that can catch and shoot, penetrate and shoot. Y'all learning how to make plays for each other, but you need that one dude that's like, man, if he pump fake and get to the middle of the paint, he going to try and dunk or finish or do something different, right? You need kind of like a counter so the attack is not the same guy at every time. And that's where I'm thinking, like, someone 6'8", 6'9" that can really get out here and put some points on the board. And that's all.
Who's a comp of somebody? Because to me, it sounds like you're explaining like a superstar. So who is a comp of someone you're speaking of?
Like, if I were to comp, like, on the guard side, I'd say, like, someone like a Lou Will. Like a Lou Williams, like somebody who is just dynamic at getting their own money, give him the ball, get out the way. If he cooks, we win every time because he know how to hoop. And then I say on the other side, like, who is the next Pascal Siakam, or who is the next kind of
Pascal Siakam make $45 million.
No. I'm saying that there's a young dude that plays like that on one of these teams, right? Some of these young dudes on Portland, right? Charlotte got a couple, young dudes that I'd say on the guard side, like Trey Mann, if y'all got him from Charlotte, that's somebody like that from the guard perspective. On the big guy side, even a Sims or Mitchell Robinson, somebody that's just got the dude the Lakers didn't want. the Charlotte kid, like
Mark Williams.
Somebody big. Just you need a big athletic person that can come in and play a lot of jump minutes, right, and a lot of glue minutes, because they'll be able to get it done. You know, they have a big game, 18 rebounds, 14 rebounds. Then it kind of take a lot of pressure off of the impact that you're going to have on your body next year. So I would bring in a bunch of young athletic dudes on top of the young dudes I got, but just kind of like dynamic talent that can just be the force y'all need to get through the season so you're not banged up by the playoffs.
No doubt.
And then in the playoffs, now you got the height. You used to have the height. When y'all was winning the championships, y'all had the height, the size, and then when y'all go small, it was a wrap. Now you got to kind of get your height, athleticism back in that front court.
Hey, so we all make mistakes, but owning up is the right thing to do. You know Degree Cool Rush deodorant? Well, last year, they changed the formula, and it did not go well with their fans.
Degree's whole thing is it turns up the sweat and odor protection when you turn up the effort. And good thing it does, because Cool Rush fans really turned up the effort to bring back the original formula. One guy even started an online petition.
And Degree, listen, they admitted they effed up and are bringing the original Cool Rush scent back. And it's exactly how you remember it. Cool, crisp, and fresh. It's back in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4.
There's a reason why it's been the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. It's the same reason why people were not happy when it changed. So if you never tried it, it might be a good time to see what the fuss is about.
Head to your local Walmart or Target to try the OG Degree Cool Rush for yourself.
You know, there's been some Draymond news, bro. They've been firing at us. You know, Kendrick Perkins taking shots. You got the media taking shots. And we never discussed the angry black man moment. I don't mean to laugh at you, though.
Well,
I don't mean to laugh at you.
You know, listen, one thing's for certain.
You are funny, though.
One thing's for certain is I know the name Draymond affects TV ratings. That I am certain of.
Yes.
Another thing's for certain is I've been doing it at an elite level for a very long time. And guys like that, Perk, UD, they've been waiting to shoot for a very long time. So, in saying that, I don't really get bothered by them shooting. Like it don't.
Nah, that was a proper take.
It don't really move me as far as them shooting. Now, I briefly just saw 2 seconds of what Perk was saying because I started watching it, and then y'all said I already said something about it. And so in saying that, I'm not actually sure what they said because I didn't hear it. But if they said what I think they said, they were right. How they said it, you know, these guys, sometimes they go about a way of saying things where they make it personal. And I don't know that they did that. I would hope that they didn't do that because I could go in on that. But if they simply said that I didn't play well, that
you said, man, you got your ass kicked.
Oh, for sure, 1,000%.
You know, Park just kind of doing his little ESPN way, but he compared you to Dennis Rodman and said Julius Randle wouldn't have scored 40. That's the only thing I didn't like. Julius Randle wouldn't have scored 40 on Dennis Rodman. It's like, man, you don't know. If Julius Randle is feeling like he was feeling in that series, ain't nobody gonna stop him. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody like he ain't thinking about nobody stopping him, bro.
For sure. I'm also certain I can go find a playoff series where Dennis Rodman got dropped off. When you win at the levels of me and Dennis Rodman, when you win at the level that me and Dennis Rodman play and have won at, and you play the amount of series that we've played in meaningful series,
somebody coming along.
So you gonna lose the battle. I don't take that personal at all. Like I definitely lost that battle. But as far as the fan goes, listen, I don't give too much thought. I deal with fans a lot. That's just the nature of being who I am. I don't get off into it. There were some racist things said in Minnesota. I also don't like giving these nobodies like moments to feel like they somebody, you know what I'm saying? So there were some racist things said. It ain't the first time you get in these environments and racist things are said. And because I'm going to tell you what it is. Fans are privileged. They are privileged. And when I say they are privileged, they can pretty much say whatever they want.
No boundaries.
And if we say something back, we get in trouble. We lose money. We get fined. We all the punishment comes to us. And so I don't really get off into it. Like, the fans going to say what they're going to say. Yes, they were racist. Am I surprised in that place? No. I was very appreciative of Tim Connolly reached out to me. I woke up to a text from Tim Connolly the next morning, who's the president of the Timberwolves. Reached out immediately. Draymond, I'm sorry this happened to you. I saw Finchie's comments. I was appreciative of that. The way their organization handled it,
bless.
Thank you. I appreciated that. I saw A-Rod on the sideline. He said something about it. Listen, the way their organization responded, I'm very appreciative of. I'm not one to give a nobody a moment to be somebody. Your life's work didn't lead you to having that moment to be somebody. So it won't be given to you by me. The reason I made the angry black man statement was actually stemming from that. Whereas when we started that series in game one, and even since post-Rudy Gobert incident that happened, which, by the way, I was happy to play against Rudy Gobert in a series because respect is gained and earned or lost in a playoff series. And we've had our instances, and I was happy to stand face-to-face with the man and gain respect. Where there was an opportunity for respect to be earned, because I am a firm believer in respect is earned during playoff series. And he earned it. And so I was happy to have that moment. But in saying that, post-Rudy Gobert incident, the reception I've gotten in Minnesota has not been that bad, and as not near as bad as I actually thought it would be. So game one happens, and nothing, right? Like, the reception, they booed a little bit. Not really. It wasn't hardly anything. And then we go into game two, and I get the bullshit tech. And number one, my shoulder hit Nas Reed's face, but if I'm bent down trying to make a pass and you're hovered above me and I lift up, my shoulder's gonna hit you in the face. That is just impossible not to, unless he is like translucent and my shoulders just like skims through his face without the physical presence. It is not. So I get the bullshit tech. And the reason I was upset is because I've gotten the same bullshit tech from Tony Brothers before. And
Tony Brothers is the worst, bro.
And to me, the reason I was so upset and why I said the angry black man is because from me getting that tech, which, by the way, Rudy Gobert elbowed Brandin Podziemski in his eye. He finished the season with a black eye, and they wouldn't review it. But then I get reviewed on this little thing, and it's a tech. And so, and then the reception in Minnesota, it goes to the roof. And that's when then the racist stuff happened. And so my thing is, you're gaslighting them. It's to make Draymond look like the angry black man and gaslight them. That's why I was so upset. It's because it's like, oh, here's the gaslighting, right? Like, they ain't on me like they could be, or you may want them to be, which brings excitement to series when we involve Draymond in these things. And so that's where the angry black man statement came from. And that's why I went on the tangent I went on. I was pissed off because it's like, yo, I haven't been dealing with this here, but you're going to gaslight this situation to make me look like the angry, out of control black man. And quite frankly,
they just took that clip. Is that what they did?
The angry black man, I'm sorry, it just really, it don't work. And then you get like people on TV that want to break it down with no context, right? So for all the idiots that tried to break it down and had no context, stupid again. That's where it all stemmed from, though. It's like, yo, you're gaslighting them because nothing's going on with me, so let's gaslight them and make this a bigger deal than what it is. That's why I was pissed off about it. That's where the statement came from. And I still stand by that. Like, don't try to make me out to be the angry black man. I'm not. And by the way, don't gaslight them. To then the things that I have to deal with, like from the gaslighting, it becomes way bigger than basketball, by the way, right? Because if I deal with those, right, I deal with those racing comments and I jump over that rail, then everybody got a problem.
Then everything,
you know what I'm saying? And so just don't gaslight. That was my whole point. That's where I stand. I still stand on those same 10. No, nothing changed for me. That's what it is.
You're not an angry black man. I know that. You're actually a really nice guy, dude. You're thoughtful. You were raised right. You know what I mean? You humble. Like, I don't think people really like know the true you. But on the court, you are kind of like crazy. Which I have to explain. I have to explain to people. You come into the league to adapt a persona. And part of that persona is how you gain an advantage on how you play.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
For sure.
And a lot of times some guys fall into certain personas that they can't get out of. Being soft, being lazy. Oh, he don't care. Oh, he's quiet. Like, how many quiet dudes be like, oh man, he's soft, he don't care. And then they snap out, he's like, oh, I know he was crazy. Like, I know he was tough. So you have to have, like, Dennis Rodman had a persona, and that persona worked for him.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not an angry black man.
No, I'm not. And here's the thing, BD. It's funny because people will say, he is an angry black man, and then they show everything on a basketball court. And to be quite honest with you, I don't really give a damn whether they call it passion or not. I can care less what they call it.
Right.
But I'll be honest with you. I find it hilarious when I see somebody go on a tangent like, he is an angry black man, because look, and then they show shit on the basketball court. And I'm like, okay, you just showed me fucking someone up on a basketball court.
Great.
Guess
That's what I like to do.
Great. I have never once in my life told y'all that I will not fuck someone up on a basketball.
Right.
I absolutely will do that.
That's the first thing I'm going to tell somebody.
I will absolutely do that. We are competing for something. You're trying to take something from me that I'm trying to get. I want that thing at all costs.
Yes.
I will go to lengths, and being the winner that I am, that you probably won't go, which is why you don't win like I win in life and whatever it is that you do. That is who I am. So yes, 1,000%. But yeah. I find it very stupid when I see some media personalities go on a tangent and then they try to back up. He's an angry black man by stuff that goes on a basketball court in a job that's also entertainment. When I see people do that, I'm like, oh, yeah, you're an idiot because you took something that you saw on TV, that you saw in the game, and you thought, oh, I can tell you who this guy is. You're just as dumb as anyone else. And so, yes, for the dummy that tries to say he is an angry black man, look, he did this on the basketball.
And then show the highlight tape.
On a basketball court, I'm sorry, that don't back up your claim. It just don't. You try to take that and make it out to be who Draymond Green is. That is who that basketball player is. You can't make that be me sitting right here. It don't work. It just don't work. You can try, you can continue, but it just doesn't work. It only proves that you are fooled by WWE. It only proves that you believe every rap lyric you hear. It only proves that you believe everything you see on the 10 o'clock news. You're naive.
You're too smart for your own good. That's your problem.
It boils down to
that's your fucking problem.
It only proves that you're naive.
Brian Artest. Ron Artest is the nicest person ever.
Bro,
that is my guy. That is my buddy, right? Hey, dude,
meeting
he
Ron
will do
Artest
anything.
in person, bro. It's like
night and day.
It's almost catch you off guard, like
night and day. Night and day. Ben Wallace, night and day. Ben Wallace he will fucking body slam you on the court. Nicest guy, and like, it's like when you're on that court, it's war, it's battle. It's like people don't understand that. Like, the game is physical. You getting hit by mistake. It's a lot of organic clumsiness. And you jock in for 3 or 4 inches of space, right? So you can have an advantage to make a shot, get a rebound, get a loose ball, set a pick. And so all that clumsiness, you need to be frustrated to play basketball. You need to have like a sense of frustration, a sense of anger, little sense of hate, right? A little sense of like, you feel like they did something to you. All that got to be bottled up in order for you to go out there and play at an elite level. You got to have an agenda, right? That agenda has to be so real. And sometimes you got to make shit up.
Absolutely.
You got to make up a reason why you hate a dude.
100%.
You got to, right? And so
we was playing against Houston, and they got one of their security guys. Now, don't get me wrong. In the moment, I was pissed off because when the thing happened with Fred VanVleet, Houston's one of their security guys, he grabbed my arms. So when that whole thing was going on, who I was yelling at when I was yelling, and that was him.
Was that, yeah, like, bro,
and I was telling him, bro,
don't ever
grab my arms, bro. Like, don't grab your guys, don't grab my arms. Because, by the way, my thing on that is, you grab my arms, and one of y'all guys start swinging on me. You ain't gonna then let me go to swing back. Like, so I'm just at a disadvantage.
Bro, that's elementary.
Like, don't grab me.
If you grab me and you on their side, you jumping me. I'm gonna automatically assume I'm getting jumped. Man.
Absolutely. So it come back to Big John, our security team, like, yo, the security guy, they said something that he wanted to talk to me. And I was like, nah, fuck that. I don't want to talk to him. Like, don't grab me. By the way, I held on to that until after Game 7. And then I saw him after Game 7. And he was like, Dre, I was like, every game I ran right past him, because when you're in the play, it's mental warfare, man. Like, everything, everybody, nah. So I'm like, straight face past him. I don't see you. Don't want to talk. None of that. Whole series. I see him right after Game 7. He like, I'm like, man, what's up? He like, man, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, it's all love. I was like, but I wasn't about to say a word to you during that series. Nah, I was on that now. Like, and that's what it was.
That's what I'm saying,
that's
bro. You're a nice guy.
That's what it is. Like,
that is an example of a nice guy. What do you think I would have did at Game 7?
Oh, you still would have been trying to fight.
That would have been on him. I'd have been on him. Hey, bro.
You would have still been trying to fight.
I will catch you in the summer. Don't you ever put your hands on me, bro. Don't you ever grab me. When I see you in the summer doing security, I'm gonna arrest you. I'm gonna pin you up. I'm gonna make a citizen's arrest. Fuck around, touch me, man. Hey, dude, I can't get like. That's what I'm saying. You're a good guy, bro. Like, some dudes don't let shit go. Like, I'm not gonna let things go. Steven Jackson is not gonna let shit go. But he's a good dude. Yeah. But being angry, shit, you gotta be angry out there on the floor. You have to be angry. You have to, it's an energy charge. It's almost like an advantage, right? Mm-hmm. And the more that you can start to wind that into like this peaceful moment of being like a true assassin where it matches your skill, it matches your basketball intellect, then you got a brand.
That part.
Because like Kobe Bryant, hate everybody, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe Bryant was angry if you scored, if he didn't get the ball, if he didn't score. It's like you get to that level of a Mamba or a Steph, right? These people, like, they're just as crazy and insane because all they're thinking about is cancellation. And they have the ability and the skill and the talent to annihilate you. So you have to be thinking like that to have all those things charge you up.
What's up, our fans? We got some great news. We're thrilled to announce that the new show merchandise is available. The site is now live, so you can check it out and grab your favorites. Go to the dgbdshow.com. That's the dgbdshow.com.
If you're watching on YouTube, there's a QR code on the screen that you can scan. You can click the link in the YouTube description. For all the listeners, head to Draymond Show on TikTok, IG, X, Facebook, and hit the website link in the bio to access the merch store. We finally get some merch for the show, baby. We get the fans be able to rock the merch, rock the show, tap in with us.
I think these should be the shirts on the seats at the game.
Come on, let's do it. We need that.
Game 4, we need that Monday.
Come on, man.
Let's do it.
I'll be at the game. We can get that cracking.
We're excited to have all y'all represent the show. So go to the dgbdshow.com and get the new merch. Let's move around the league before we get out of here, man. We got game 7, Denver versus OKC. It's been a great series. Joker been delivering. Julius Randle stepped up last game for Denver, but he was at home. Role players do play better at home. So, Lou Dort stepped up the game before that to help OKC pull out game 5.
Yep.
Role players do play better at home. So, game 7, Joker versus Shea. Who you got and why?
Shit. You know what? I'm going to go with OKC. I think Jamal Murray had a really good game 6. And I look at Denver and I look at Jamal Murray like he's going to have a 40, 30-point game in the series. If he can get 2, Denver got a chance. I don't think this game 7, I don't think this is a Jamal Murray game 7. I think it's going to be tight. Right? People are going to be, really having to work for shots. And at the end of the day, like you said, role players play better at home. Game 7, I think OKC wins a close one, but it's just hard to go against Joker because if Denver can keep it close, anything is possible with that dude because he's getting double teamed.
I agree with you. And role players do play better at home, except this is game 7 and anything goes. And I think the role players for the away team in game 7 ain't got nothing to lose because it's just game 7. It's game 7.
That's it.
So you got to shoot that shot. Whereas opposed to, I think it actually flips a bit. The home role players in game 7 gets a little tighter because you're supposed to make the shot. You at home, y'all supposed to win game 7. And so I think OKC needed to win game 6. After they went and took game 5, because they stole game 5. They shouldn't have won game 5, in my opinion. I thought down the stretch, last 4 or 5 minutes, Shea started getting downhill 7-8 minute mark.
Yep.
But then down the stretch, Lou Dort hit them big threes like they stole one.
Yeah.
And Denver had been winning the game the whole game, right? So I think OKC stole game 5. You needed to come and capitalize on game 6 after you just stole one. I think now going into game 7, it flips. The pressure's all on OKC. And not only is the pressure on OKC because they're the 1 seed, A. They've been this great all year, B. But there's also less pressure on Denver because they've done it before. If they lose, they just go home. But guess what? Joker goes back to Serbia as an NBA champion still. Jamal goes back to Toronto as an NBA champion still, right? So Aaron Gordon goes back to California, or he's from here, but I don't know if he lives here, but as an NBA champion still. Christian Braun goes back to Lawrence School as an NBA champion still. So they don't have the pressure of we got to do it, man, and everybody thought we'd do it, whereas OKC actually have that pressure as well. So I just think all the pressure flips to OKC. And on top of all the pressure flipping to OKC, I think when it all boils down to it, even outside of the pressure, Denver know how. They've been in these moments. They've been in these game sevens. Joker's been in these game sevens. Jamal, Aaron Gordon, Russ, they've been in these game sevens, man, and they got the know-how. And so I just think with the pressure flipping to OKC, Denver going to come in cool as a fan. That rim get a little smaller, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm going to roll with Denver on this one.
Yeah, if it's close, Denver, OKC got to blow them out. But I think OKC got that talent, man. If they can get out and get a 10-point lead, 10, 12-point lead, it's going to be hard for Denver to come back because I think OKC just got the crowd. They got multiple talented dudes that can step up. So it's been a good series, Game 7. I'm looking forward to it. My Knicks, we have a chance to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals since 1999. Do you think the Knicks close it out at home?
They better close it out at home. Because if they don't, then you got to go back to Boston for Game 7. They might lose that mug by 20.
So they better close it out at home. Come back.
Yeah.
Knicks tape.
I'm just saying. They better close it out. Because if not, Game 7, it's a wrap. Reynolds.
Hey, man, I think the Knicks close this thing out, man. We in New York. New York ain't had this in a long time, since 1999, damn near the year before I got the year I got drafted. Man, it's Knicks tape season.
Listen, it would be beautiful to see the Knicks do it.
Come on, man.
I would love to see the Knicks make it to the conference finals. I think the New York Knicks fans deserve it.
I will wear a Knicks hat.
They better.
I will wear a Knicks hat.
They better win Game 6.
I will wear a Knicks hat. You know me, for my LA hats, I only wear LA hats, but I wear Knicks tape hats. Shout out to the Knicks. They going to take them down. I can't say I like Boston because I've never been a Boston Celtics fan ever in my life. I like some of the players on the team. I like a lot of the players on the team. But I'm not rooting for no Boston, bro. It's Knicks,
we in the same spot.
and it's Knicks right now. And
we're in the same spot.
It got to happen.
JT, my brother.
Shout out to Knicks TV. Shout out to the Knicks tape. Shout out to the whole Knicks staff. I mean, that was some of the best times of my life. Even though I, career in the injury, they took good care of me. Man, I may have to fly. You know what? I'm going to fly the next day after they do the conference. After we get into the Eastern Conference Finals, then I'll be at Game 1.
Respect. Listen,
since y'all didn't fucking win, man, and I can't go get no more damn games. You was an hour flight away. And the Clippers, they was like 20-minute drive. So now I got to fly all the way east to go catch me a playoff game.
Hey, wait, so this whole Knicks tape thing, y'all ain't make it to the conference finals?
I don't think so. Nope.
No, we
lost to Indiana. We lost to Indiana. The Knicks tape thing happened because it was really when I got to New York, it was me, JR, Shump, Melo. It was just we all hung out together. And we started the Knicks tape so we could all stay together and kind of move like a unit. And so the Knicks tape became kind of like our marketing
so it was better
brand.
off the court than it was on the court.
No, it was great. No, it made us better on the court.
But y'all ain't win that. Y'all ain't even go to the conference finals.
Not everybody goes to the finals and wins something.
So it's better off the court than on the court.
Sometimes you have to build a culture. And what I'm telling you, before when you look at the Knicks, when I got there, it looked like everybody was segregated. Any and everybody was a star. Any and everybody could go out, had an entourage, and it wasn't about Knicks basketball. The Knicks tape made the Knicks tape about basketball. Y'all come to watch us play. It's almost like the steel curtain for Pittsburgh.
They won championships. Don't do that.
What?
Steel curtain won championships.
Yeah,
don't do that.
But that's a mantra, bro.
No,
they have to start
they won championships. Don't do that.
You have to start as a mantra, or you have to have a mantra or energy. If you ain't just birthing championship pedigree and don't have a championship system. And so you have to find ways to change the culture. So
right now they still benefiting from Knicks tape? right now, Jalen
No,
Brunson.
no. That's just my era. No.
Oh, that's just your era. Okay. I thought y'all was still rolling with that.
But I still say Knicks tape. Everybody that played in our era still say Knicks tape, and we call them the Knicks tape because
y'all don't have a reunion.
They exude the energy.
Y'all gonna have a reunion?
When they win the championship, you want to come?
Nah.
Well, we're gonna invite your ass since you want to harass me about my Knicks tape. It's like Dub Nation. You know what I mean? Dub Nation became like a mantra. We believe that shit was just a slogan. It was kind of like what defined us, but it wasn't something that we could carry on. You feel what I'm saying?
Because y'all ain't win. That's why it wasn't ours.
It was. Well, it's a lot of factors going to winning, Draymond. You're just lucky.
No,
you're just lucky. You're lucky. And part of basketball is luck.
It's definitely some luck. Guess what?
It's a lot of luck.
You gotta have a little luck for sure.
Bro, you gotta have a lot of luck to get drafted where you drafted, go to the
We
team
believe
where
would have
you
stuck
going
if
to.
y'all won a championship.
Bro, we will beat y'all right now. Swear to God. Swear to God we'll beat y'all. We will beat this year. The We Believe team will get in shape and beat this year's playoff team. Guaranteed summer.
Can I share a secret with you? Can I share a secret with you that I've never shared with you before?
Go ahead.
The Warriors' history was so bad that early on in my career, me, Steph, Clay, we'd be at Oracle Arena and they'd have these moments. And they would, a moment at every one single time in every game, they would go to a fan, a season ticket holder of the game, and they put the microphone in their face and they say, "Oh, season ticket holder of the game, such and such from Santa Rosa. How long? I've been a season ticket holder since 1982. Oh, great. What's your favorite Warriors moment?" And the most common ones were Baron Davis dunk on Andre Karolinko in the We Believe season. Now, the Baron Davis dunk on Andre Karolinko we all loved, right? Like we respected it. Steph would fucking pull the shirt up like that. We actually all loved and respected that moment. But then they would say, "We believe," and we used to look at each other and laugh and be like, "Man, these people are really celebrating like a first round win." It is crazy to us. Like, we really gotta change this. Like, this is insane, BD. And so I just wanted to share that little secret with you. We used to laugh at it.
I agree.
But we love y'all.
Every team that has a history, when you go on for championships, I would have said the same thing. They celebrating when I got here, they celebrated nothing. There was nothing to celebrate. It was dead as a doorknob. So when you breathe life, then that's how you get the next generation of babies. I don't hate on y'all. I just consider
we don't hate on y'all either. But you've been shooting at me all day.
Clay,
I shoot back.
Clay.
I've been just letting you shoot all day. I shoot back. Just so you know.
September 30th. We believe. You want to do it? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
It'd be worse than playing the Houston Rockets in the playoff series. Y'all going to hold more than they was.
No, we not. We're going to play a game to 7. We're going to play 5 games to 7. Pick up. Lock gin. I already see how you play dominoes.
You lost. You should have just left it out. You should have just left it out.
All right.
Hey, bro. Just left it out. I would, bro, dominoes yesterday. You should have just let it be. I wasn't going to even say nothing.
Hey, my bro.
Just left it out.
Hey, my bro is having a bad day, ladies and gentlemen.
He left it out.
And sometimes, like the big bro, you gotta let the little bro get his joy.
If you've ever won anything in your life, people, you know that's bullshit what he said. If you ever want anything, you know the first thing somebody gonna do when they lose, act like they let you do it. That man can't stick on them bones.
Draymond Green right here.
Walk him down.
Jimmy Butler right here. Draymond Green right here. And they didn't talk. for an hour.
Oh, that's
not a word.
That's sick. That's ridiculous. We play head up. We both beat you head up.
Yeah. We have to go. I have to go. But
oh my God.
I can say I seen how you and Jimmy communicate. And I see during the domino game, y'all was coaching each other and talking the game, which is not accepted. But y'all got good chemistry. And I believe next year, the way y'all communicate and the way y'all was improving in dominoes, man, watch out for the Warriors. Because Draymond and Jimmy just getting started.
Hold them L's. Hold them L's, player.
Man, it's just a loss. It's just a loss. You know, the sunshine on the dog has once a day.
Yeah, hold that.
As we get close to the end, first I wanted to say get well soon to my boy Jason Tatum.
Yes, sir.
Damn, we didn't get a chance to say get well soon to him. All my legends, all my dudes was out. Got big love for him. But we got to take a TV timeout. The guy, Emmanuel Acho, he had a take on Tatum's mental toughness by saying, I don't think the Celtics are better without Tatum. I think they match up better mentally. Then KD responded, and KD said, hot take artists have ruined the sport. Football guys, no disrespect, but y'all boys need to stay in your lanes. You don't know what it's like in between these lines? Man, give it a break. Dudes who quit football early to pursue media, talking mental toughness, cut it out. Then Ocho had a whole video saying that, you know, when you respect the game and you have a respect for the game, you're able to chime in and give opinions. And then he went off on KD on the leadership, saying KD didn't want to be a leader. He quoted him on that and tried to bring it back. I don't know if you've been paying attention. You know, you just got off of work. What was your thoughts on the exchange, especially since he's talking about KD leadership during his years with the Warriors?
My thoughts on the exchange was like, Jason Tatum is an NBA champion and a two-time gold medalist. But even more so than the Olympic gold medalist. And I, by the way, I went through the Olympics with Jason Tatum. Mentally, it wasn't the easiest. Like, you're stuck in a hotel in Tokyo, cannot go outside for 3.5 weeks unless you go into the gym. Having to win, like the whole world on you, and JT played a much bigger role in that Olympics than he did this past one. Having to win while everybody in America is saying you're going to lose, why y'all going to lose, how y'all not good enough. You got Americans rooting against America in the Olympics. You turn on an American talk show and they're crushing the USA Olympic team. So to KD's point about ruining the sport, I get what KD's going at. KD was also on that team as well. But even more so, the NBA championship than the Olympics. Because somebody will say, oh, you're on Team USA always win, as if it's not hard. So I'll just kill that argument for you. An NBA championship requires a level of mental toughness that most people have no idea it even requires. You know why?
Want to get there to understand.
Understand it. You didn't get there to do it.
You got to get there. Yeah.
And so to say Jason Tatum doesn't have mental toughness, for me, it just don't work because Jason Tatum is an NBA champion. And so to try to make a point, because you can't say they're a better team without Jason Tatum, you're just going to look like a complete idiot if you say that. So to find something to try to make that statement, to me, is kind of whack. It actually puts you in a position to be spoke to the way KD spoke about you. And not that I think, oh, because you play football, you can't talk basketball, because I don't believe that. But because I thought Acho made great points about it, you study something. That's all our league is. Our like some front offices in our league are people that studied numbers and then learned the game of basketball, right? So, like, I agree with Acho. You can study the game and learn it. However, to start talking mental toughness would be implying that you know the mental toughness that it takes to do that thing. And you don't know that. Like, you don't know the level of mental toughness that it takes in order to win an NBA championship, in order to be the most important player or second most important player or third most important player on the NBA championship team. You don't know the level of mental toughness that it takes. So the take becomes very hot just on that alone, because you just made this about mental toughness and you can't speak to that. Like, not because you're a football player, but you don't know the level of mental toughness that it takes to win a championship, period, because you also didn't win a football one. So it's not that you can't speak because of football, you were football and not basketball. It's just that when you start making it about a specific thing, this time being mental toughness, you don't know that level. And so it's hard to hear you speak on it. But even if you do speak on it, it's hard to hear it and like agree, even just to simply agree, because Jason Tatum is an NBA champion as the face of a franchise. Like, he's not just an NBA champion that became, he's the face of an entire franchise and became an NBA champion. And so I'm not hearing the mental toughness. Like, that don't work with me. Now, to go at KD and question his leadership and all that, they've been questioning the same thing for years. Fine.
It don't matter.
It is what it is.
Legacy.
He is a star, a legend, a GOAT, a champion, a Olympic gold medalist 3 times or 4 times, one of the two. 4 times. Like, like you can't go at KD's game, so you start talking about leadership. That's what people do, right? And so, listen, their back and forth is what it is. I just don't really understand trying to, the whole, like, people be trying to, like, dampen people's legacy. Like, that to me, KD is KD. Point blank, period. If there's anything that, if you need to see it simply put, there's a video out there where he said, you know who I am. You know who I am? Yeah, y'all know who I am, right? I'm KD. Like, there couldn't be anything out there in the world that can better sum this up for you. You know who I am. Y'all, you know who I am? Y'all, I'm KD. So I'm not in the whole you can't talk football because you don't play, or you can't talk basketball because I don't believe that. But to start talking mental toughness, that one, to me, you lose me. Or start talking leadership, like
especially if you're mentally tough.
Yeah, like you can't, like that's like.
How can you comment on somebody's mental toughness? Like, we say a lot of shit, and sometimes, like, we don't know what we said. And he was saying, like, he questioned the mental toughness, but what he was really trying to say is, like, Jaylen Brown is a more mentally tough leader. That's what he was trying to say. And the way he plays is like, they shouldn't lose anything. They should gain something, because now Jaylen Brown, he's the next leader up, and they're going to assume his personality. But I just don't think that he understands what it means to be Jason Tatum, right? And what it means to be Jaylen Brown. And when you talk about mental toughness and one plays one way, one plays the other way, you're still a dog, right?
But you know another thing I ain't like about it, though, BD, is why are you pitting 2 teammates against each other? Like, they're actually teammates. They're supposed to complement each other. If you had 2 Jaylen Browns, it probably don't work. If Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, I am here to tell you, they wouldn't be teammates this long. Like, it actually is strategically set up that way. Like,
yeah.
Jason Tatum to be one way and for Jaylen Brown to be one way. It's actually how Brad Stevens built the team. Danny Ainge, but then Brad Stevens to retool around. It's actually set up for them to be 2 completely different players. So again, to try to pit them against each other, but in the same token say, but he played this style and he played that style. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Me and Steph Curry don't play the same style. Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry don't play the same style, because if any of us did, it probably doesn't work. And so I didn't understand that part either. That part I was like, but why are we doing this thing again? Like, it's him versus him. No, those two guys are champions together. They're supposed to complement each other. That's how the game works.
And with that, what Dre said, I don't do the outros, but we out. This is the Draymond Show. That's Draymond with Baron Davis. That's me. Until next time, Dub fans, NBA fans, basketball fans, keep rocking with us. We out.